People think that moving off grid is all about escaping the noise. But for me, it was all about stepping out of my comfort zone and living a sustainable life within my means. If you're new here, hi, my name is Flor. I am Cuban and I have been living off grid in Jamaica since last year, October. And this is my story on how I left the city of Kingston behind and moved to Portland. Ferruco, I think it's very important for us off-gridders, everybody who decided to change their life and leave the city and head to the bushes, to share our story because every single story is different. Every beginning is different. The results may be the same at the end, but it's very important for those of you that may be thinking about making that big move to hear as many backstories as possible, to see where you fit in and what resonates with you. So my story is very different. Father God, my entire life story is very different from what you expect someone like me to do, from being Cuban, from being coming to Jamaica, the reasons why I left Cuba. Everything is just so odd. So I I am here to share my odd story of leaving the city and moving to the bushes in Jamaica. And one of those many things that make my story so odd and different is this house. Usually people moving, making those moves to go off grid, and so they start from scratch. They decide that they're going to move off grid, they go looking for the land, they build the house, and then they move into the house. For me, it happened a little bit backwards. The land and house was already found and built, and then we decided to make it our life off grid. I have lived in Kingston my entire life in Jamaica since I came here and we were renting. And from the moment that we decided to buy a piece of land before we had children, we thought of San Andrew as that place. Fortunately for us, because I love nature so much, we were lucky to find a piece of land in rural San Andrew, right up in the mountains, where you get an entire view of Kingston, breathtaking ocean view. You can see all the way to the airport. You can see all the way to Portmore from up there. And it's very secluded. We have an empty lot beside us. So it's like being in the country, but you're still in the city type of feeling. And I have always been a nature lover. Ever since I was in Cuba, I was a sucker for nature. And yes, in our home in Kingston, I was surrounded by nature because we have created our own little oasis right there. And I have a video also linking in the description below so you can see all the different things in our property in Kingston. So you have an idea or a visual of where I'm talking about. And I also will be linking our Airbnb listing below. Being close to nature here in Portland has definitely been a plus. And as you can tell by my content that I create on this channel, we are right next to the river, and you probably can hear it. It sounds like white noise. And we also have a waterfall, which is a magnificent blessing. So just being by the veranda here, or even being inside the house, because it's a glass house, you are immersed in nature. And during those years, we never had any thoughts of going to live in any other parish. Although my husband has family in other parishes in Jamaica, it was never in our thoughts back then to move anywhere else than Kingston. And you know, I have lived in the United States, and you know, I spent about 9 months in South America. But other than that, our entire life has always been in Kingston. And this is why I say that for me, it's more than just looking for peace. It is more about stepping out of my comfort zone, which is for many people considering, questioning, contemplating the fact of whether or not they should move to the country or living off grid. That is the biggest challenge, stepping out of your comfort zone. Although you may find all the comforts that you had in your home in the city, in your home in the country, you're still leaving behind all the things that you're accustomed to, all your routines, or your friends, or the spots that you're accustomed to. It's just moving your life from one lifestyle to a next. It's not just when you move cities. If you're living in the city of Kingston and you're moving to Montego Bay, you may encounter the same things. If you move from city to city, you may encounter the same things. But to leave Kingston and move into nature right next to a river with a waterfall is a big change. I'm telling you, this is why it's so important for us to share our stories and to share our journeys, because I am sure a lot of people are always focused on the other challenges about living off grid, like your power and your water and so, and I'm not so much thinking about stepping out of their comfort zone. So, because I have never shared with you how my life was before moving to Portland, and there's a couple of videos that I'm going to be linking in the description below that you can go and watch and catch up on how some sort of the transition and the process of finding the land and moving here was. I want to share with you how my life was in Kingston before we decided to move to Portland. Our life was very routinely up to the pandemic time, right at the time where my last son was born, about 5 years ago. I used to go to the office 9 to 5. My husband used to go down to the office 9 to 5. Well, we said 9 to 5, but you know, when you own a business, it's more like 24/7. So after he was born and the pandemic hit, that's when we restructure our lives and started working from home again. Me mostly. He will still have to be hands on. There was also the fact that our kids continue going to online school after the pandemic. So during the pandemic, a lot of the children were doing online school. A lot of online schools were created. A lot of parents are starting homeschooling. So we decided to keep our children on online school versus putting them back into physical school. And this gave us the freedom to travel. And then when we decided to travel to South America, that is when the big change came. And that was around January 2023 that we decided to leave Jamaica for a long period of time to discover multiple countries. And this is something that we have never done. So my husband packed his entire family, all five of us, packed our suitcases, and we started our travels. We went to Cayman first, then we went to Panama. We spent months in Panama. We spent months in Colombia. We spent months in Brazil. We went to Uruguay, and we went to Chile. So we visited a total of 5 countries in the span of 9 months. So it was a long-term travel. During this period, my kids did not miss a day of class. Well, maybe they missed a day or two, maybe missed this watches. It's like, they missed 1 or 2 days. All three were enrolled in class during this period. But before we left for South America, it was also a big change for me. As a Cuban, I don't know if the communism is embedded in my DNA and I'm just so resistant to change. Maybe I'm just too old for changes. And my husband has always been a nomad. He has been a nomad from birth. I'm a homebody and he is a nomad. So we always have to find that place in the middle where he gets his nomadic ways and I get my homebody ways. So when we travel, as you can see, we travel for long periods of time. So we will book an Airbnb and stay there for a month or more. And that way I get to nest a little bit before it's time to move to the next one. Moving to South America opened the door for many possibilities. It opened my mind, it opened my eyes, and also made me realize that I could have a life outside of having just this one home. I'm still working on that though. I'm still working on it because I had a little setback not too long ago, where I had to move and I had a little setback. So it's something that I'm constantly working on to keep my mind set open to the fact that, as my husband said, I am not a tree. Let's just think of ourselves more like the wind that blows the branches instead of a rooted tree in one place. Our travels to South America opened many doors for us. And given that we already had the cabins here in Portland, we had had the land here in Portland since 2017, and those cabins were listed on Airbnb. My parents live with me in Kingston. Or, as I like to say, I live with my parents, but they say they live with me. We all live together in Kingston. My mom and my dad, and my family, which is my husband and my kids, we all lived in the same house on top of the hill in Kingston. Going to South America meant that I was leaving my parents behind in that house, a huge house, by the way. My husband said it is kind of like a overkill for them to be in that huge house. They can live in a section of the house and we can Airbnb the rest of the house. All hell broke loose in my head. Oh my God, I have to take down my picnic and picture out of the wall. Me have to pack down all my good up things then. Me have to naked out the house. Me have to prepare the house for guests to come in. It's not the same when you build a cabin as your vacation home and then you share it on Airbnb than to take your home where your picnic baby clothes is, although they are 11, 12 years old, and put that on Airbnb. And we were not even here when we made that decision. We were lucky enough to have friends and family that assisted with the move. Everything in my bedroom was packed. I had a chest of drawer, which I call the memory chest of drawers, where I even have my picnic and umbilical cord stored in there. So everything was packed in boxes. I have boxes and boxes and boxes of vintage clothes from the 1970s and the 1980s that I had acquired throughout the years. I had boxes and boxes of shoes, handbags, everything from a pin to an anchor had to be packed and put away. Luckily, we had built a storage. It's basically like a huge bedroom with air conditioning. We had built that and everything was stored in there. All my kids' toys, everything was stored in there. So the house was completely naked. We took down all the family pictures, everything that it was personal. I called my friend Dane Nelson to come in and take pictures. All of this while we were overseas in South America traveling. And he came in and took the pictures, and I did the listing, and we listed our home that we built from scratch on Airbnb to share. It was a very difficult decision for me. It was very difficult for me to accept, to come around to it. We also had to make certain renovations to accommodate my parents in an apartment downstairs in the house. And I am always so resistant to change. And I don't know how many of you watching this can relate with me. But at the end, you look back and say, Lord Almighty, I was being so silly. It was absolutely nothing. It was not a big deal. It all worked out at the end. So, what this created for us was another source of income. And when I tell you that I'm so grateful for my husband, that I'm so blessed to have my husband as my husband, is an understatement because he's able to plan and see things that me as a woman, me no depend that, me no dey in that realm there. Returning from South America now to the home in the hill in Kingston and seeing everything emptied out, to coming into empty drawers, to coming into a very naked kitchen, to coming into a house and not longer a home. The only thing that remained the same was the presence of my parents, which it was also very different because they are not coming upstairs, they're not coming to their old bedroom. They're like, no, we are very comfortable here. We enjoy our little space right here. You can be up there, we'll be down here. It made me realize that a lot of the attachments that I had created to these physical memories could be replaced by mental and emotional memory attachment. Instead of seeing the physical picture, I have the memory every time I pass by the stairs of seeing all my newborn pictures on the wall. And I realized that it doesn't matter how many times those pictures will be taken down, they will always be in my heart with me. So it made me realize that it was possible to have a home anywhere. as long as my family is with me, as long as my memories are with me, I will be able to have a home anywhere. So when we got a booking for that house in Kingston, it was time for us to find somewhere else to go. And that somewhere else was right here in Portland, Jamaica, in our 3 bedroom off-grid cabin. And this is why I said that everybody's journey is so different, because for me, it was not, I am going to build this house and this is where I'm going to live and this is where I'm going to spend the rest of my life. It was more of an organic way. And this is because we are Airbnb host. We have multiple dwellings, we have multiple properties that are listed on Airbnb. And we just jump from side to side, from home to home whenever the booking comes. When it comes to this 3 bedroom cabin, we made it our main residence all this time since we returned from South America. And we made sure to block all the dates on Airbnb so that nobody was able to book it. But we had a booking from the year before for this August. So this is when I'm telling you that I had a little setback, because I had to packed up my entire life here of grid that I have been sharing with you. I had to pack the meal. I had to pack all my rocks where I crush garlic with. I had to pack all my mugs. I had to pack all my clothes. I had to pack my corsets. I had to pack everything out of this house and take it to the house in Kingston that didn't have any booking at the time, to accommodate that one booking that we had. And now we are back here. We have a surprise in store for you. There's another off-grid cabin being built. It is not in this property. We're looking forward to start our move into that cabin very soon. I feel kind of like somewhere in between, where I don't want to get too comfortable here, because I know very soon I'm going to have to move into that cabin. But that is good news for you, because that means that you will be able to enjoy this cabin if you like, because it's on Airbnb. And if it's a party of 10 or a party of 12, you are more than welcome to book it and stay here. I promise I will not get mad at you because I have to pack everything and leave. It will bring me a lot of joy and satisfaction for you to come here and see firsthand where I have built this magical place that I share with all of you, my YouTube tribe on YouTube. In addition to having the possibilities of having an extra income from renting our home in Kingston, we had also become accustomed to the peace that comes with being in other countries, especially in South America, especially given the fact that the places that we stayed in South America, and let me know in the comments, please, I want you to let me know in the comments if you would like to see content of the places that we stayed at in South America. If you want to see how a country home, whether it's in Colombia, Brazil, Chile, Uruguay, if you would like to see that content, let me know if you want me to create a playlist with that content, because I had filmed all of that, but because I was doing off-grid content, I put that in the back burner and never share any of my travel content yet. If you want to see how we lived while we were away, please let me know and I will share with you. Even if it's just one comment, I will share it with you, because I think it's very important for people to have a vision that you could have a country, peaceful life anywhere. It doesn't have to be necessarily in Jamaica. Like, I look forward to spending many years in Colombia, because it was so peaceful, so beautiful, and so affordable that is an ideal place for somebody going into retirement to spend their time in. Returning to Kingston from that very peaceful country life in South America was a clash. Returning to Kingston from that very affordable life in South America was a clash. And we thought to ourselves, where can we duplicate this? Where can we experience something similar to what we experienced in South America? And we're like, well, of course, in Portland, that is the one place, because once you are in the country, you have access to more affordable food, you have access to free food, you have 20 acres of land producing, and of course, there's no traffic, there's no noise, there is no looking over your shoulder every 5 minutes, maybe every 15 minutes, but not every 5 minutes. Because life in Kingston is very challenging. The road rage that you would experience in Kingston, the prices all of that is not in country. And it's very fascinating to see throughout the years that I have been living in Jamaica on how Jamaicans will live this life and go to Kingston. Of course, they're looking for opportunity. Of course, they're looking for a high paying job and so on. But sometimes chasing that dollar sign, we neglect and we fail to appreciate the value that we already have. You already have it all. You already have your home. You already have your land. You already have your free food. You are set for life. And that is what we're looking with this move that we made to Portland and the move that we have made of listing our properties on Airbnb. We're looking to have that financial freedom. We're looking to have that time freedom. And yes, we do have businesses that bring in an income, but we have to keep evolving as business people to have that source of income and to have that freedom of travel and that freedom of time. And we are so blessed that our kids, again, are on online school, so we can be between houses and they will not be affected on their schedule. And of course, I always consult with them if they want to go back to physical school, and their answer is always a big fat no. So that is how my full time off grid living in the bushes life started. It started with that transition from listing my home in Kingston on Airbnb and returning from a very peaceful journey through the countryside of South America and realizing that I already had that beautiful space created right here in Jamaica that our family could enjoy and grow and reap the benefits of. I really don't know how many people will resonate with my story, but I wanted to come clean and be as transparent as possible with you because there may be people who already have a country home that is being neglected and falling down to pieces. I have seen a lot of abandoned houses in the area that I feel like, oh my God, I wish I could come in and fix that and list it on Airbnb. So I really hope that this inspires you to look into what you really want, what will bring you joy, what will bring you that peace of mind. And for me, that was being here in Portland. I do miss my parents. I do miss the walls that made my home back in the day, but I now have my home here in the bushes and very soon will be in some other bush that I cannot wait to share with you. If you like this video, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. It will mean the world to me as a content creator to have your love and support demonstrated in that way. This life sure isn't for everyone, and although my scenario may not be just like yours, if you ever had the crippling fear of change hold you back from living your dream life, I really hope that my story was able to inspire you and spark that adventurous feeling within yourself. For me, leaving the city of Kingston give me the opportunity to set my roots in the wind that carries us around through this magnificent thing that we call life. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Mucha love.